Hello, doing an RPG punditish thing here today. Let me get this framed. There we go. So we're actually published as of earlier this month. Got the hardback on sale. Still a copper bestseller. Haven't moved a ton of them, but we did get everything sent out to backers. And as you can see, we have a lovely hardback version. The cover looks really, really nice. High resolution image. From our Kazakhstani artist, actually, Pavel Kolomiets. Hope I'm not slaughtering his poor name. But yeah, it is out, and looking through it, I think, guys, I may have went a little hard on this one, um, because once I actually got into reading it, I realized that with half of the kung fu and just the combat system and maybe a little bit about scenes, this game probably would have been done a couple of years ago, and it would have been a lot slimmer. As it stands, we have made a bulky tome of post-apocalypse glory. I just kind of kept putting things in it, put an entire bestiary in there with all kinds of cool monsters. I doubled the amount of kung fu I was originally going to put in there. Um, like I did a really deep dive on not only a GM chapter, but a lore chapter, which will help GMs spontaneously create content. I did an armory chapter with vehicles and crafting rules and magic items. I did an entire chapter that I don't know if it's ever going to see play, which is the domains chapter. So this thing went from being this slim post-apocalypse punch game to this enormous brick of a tome. Actually, let me turn this sideways for you, just so you can get an idea of just how huge this is. Um, let's see here. Do I have any size comparison things? Not really, unfortunately. I wish I had a quarter or something. But it is exceptionally thick. Like, it's just enormous. 300 pages. You can see the back here too. I like this yellow. It actually wound up being really eye catching. And it's got a nice, like, late 80s, early 90s kind of vibe, which I think works really well with the kind of White Wolfy stuff. The whole White Wolfy aesthetic that I was trying to borrow with it. Um, so, yeah, absolutely glorious tome. Actually, let me open it up a little bit and kind of show you guys inside. So, there was because of the sheer size of this thing, there wasn't quite as much art to go around as I would have liked. So there's a lot of pages which are just actual rules. The layout helps out a lot with that. I spent a lot of time in layout learning the ropes, and as you can tell, there's not a lot of orphans. Like, most of the segments begin at the top left and they wrap up before then. There's a few empty segments. Let me see if I can find a good example of one. Most of them are really nice. Yeah, here we go. Like, this is a little empty. It's just there's a lot of blank space on this page. It would have been nice to have been able to commission a little more art. Unfortunately, I ran into budget issues a few years into the production, and I just wasn't able to do that and send everything out and blah blah blah. So, but we do have a lot of art in there, as you can tell. There's a nice rich amount, and it's in the places that it really counts. The design does a really good job of presenting the information in a way that's easy on the eyes, which is nice. So, and whenever you get a really nice big full page thing, it's in this glorious resolution. It just looks really nice. All the chapters have these lovely headers. Um, this section I'm particularly happy with. You're kind of seeing it backwards here. But this is the combat section, and this is actually a direct tribute to the old White Wolf Werewolf the Apocalypse combat section, where it's actually sequential art. You've got this one, the start of the fight, and then you continue going deeper into the fight, like about the middle, and then you have the resolution where the guy blows up, Fist of the North Star style. So that's really fun and lovely. And yeah, looking at this thing, like, if you actually flip through it, you can tell, like, there's just so much. These chapters here were going to be in the first supplement. This is all the backer clans and kung fu. It's all in there. Lots and lots of stuff there. The lore chapters have these really dense Yoon Soonish sections where there's all these charts that help you make areas and stock them with interesting situations and monsters and people and treasure. So great stuff there. There we go. Here's all the different martial arts super weapons. This section came out really nice, actually. These beautiful glory shots of the weapons that are lined up with the description down there. Didn't get as much as I wanted in this section. I really wanted to do more vehicles. I think there's like one really good vehicle image in the entire thing, and it's a tank that's about to get smashed. Bestiary was nice. I would have bought art for this forever. I love monsters, but the really big set piece ones that are here are lovely. But yeah, as you can tell, I just kind of went on and on and on and on writing this damn thing for years, and it just got to the point where now that I've got it in my fist, I can really tell that I went a little too hard, folks. This thing is more than I bargained for, and probably more than y'all bargained for. And interestingly, I think that's kind of to its detriment. I hate to say that after years and years of killing myself for this thing, but it wants to be too enclosed, which is something that I don't know. It's not flexible enough in a lot of ways for it to be something easy to hack. It kind of did the same thing Exalted did, where like the rules are trying to give you everything, and the fact is, I think most people come to role playing games with their own way of doing things. We are either going to do it like, as plot arcs, or we're going to do it as a hex crawl, or we're going to do whatever. And this game gives you its own take on all of those things, and it's specific, and it's coded into the rules, and it's strong, and it gives it this feeling of being inflexible. Like you have to read and understand all these interconnected parts before it works. And I think that the premise would have been better served if I had just provided a violence system, like just punching. That sounds like I'm selling myself short, but honestly, like if Exalted was just that, if it was just like charms that let you fight and that was it, it would probably be a stronger game. Um, so yeah, I think I might have went a little hard on this one. It actually gives you so much that it's a little overwhelming. Lesson learned. I think the next few games are going to be considerably lighter, and the wording and the way the rules interconnect is going to feel a lot more modular. That's just something that comes with experience, I think. And if you actually like burrow into this text, it is more flexible than it initially reads. It's like, oh, okay, these GM systems are optional. This whole lore chapter, the domains chapter, optional. Don't have to do them. There's kind of light versions of them if you're more of a hand wavy GM. There's no problem there. And most of the stuff that requires stuff like ration and fuel tracking, it's about as ignorable as it is in D&D or any other game. It's like it's not really central to the game, but the parts are there in a modular sense for plugging them in if that's how your table works. So it is too much and it took too long to put together, but if you are one of those mad completionists like I am, and you do want a game that is really complete and gives you all the hex crawly, gritty gloriness, it's all in here. And if you want it lighter and you want it to be all about fists, well, it's actually not that difficult to just read the character-centric chapters, and that's it. Maybe toss in the bestiary if you want some really good fights. But for the most part, like, you could run this a lot lighter than the tome implies. So that makes me happy. At the end of the day, I'm really pleased with my very first full hardback TTRPG, and I'm looking forward to the future. What does the future hold? Probably a GM screen, at the very, very minimum. In any event, I hope to see you guys at the table. Until then, may your fists be filled with fury. Yeah, I'm gonna end it that way.